Hi there subscribers, welcome back, and I'm looking today at the final efficiency point on the OCR A-level specification, and that is explain what is meant by economic efficiency. So it's an explain directive word, i.e. scratch the surface, understanding and interpretation. And let's, without further ado, get stuck into this. So we've already looked at the allocatively efficient points and the productively efficient points. And so all we need to say here is that economic efficiency arises whenever a market is both allocatively efficient and productively efficient. Now that is sometimes referred to and known as a point of Pareto efficiency. And after the famous economist Vilfredo Pareto, whom you may have encountered in your studies. And from a point of Pareto efficiency, it is only possible to achieve what's known as a Pareto Improvement, and I'll explain a little bit about that in a moment. So let's just take, first of all, our standard PPC-PPF diagram, very similar obviously to the ones I've discussed before. So any point on the line can be allocatively efficient, we know that, if you're told whether more of good Y or more of good X is required. Any point on the line is productively efficient because you're maximizing your output from a given number of inputs, and therefore either A or B here could be Pareto efficient or economically efficient as it's otherwise known. So in order to determine that, we would need to be told, well, more of good Y, for example, is demanded than of good X, in which case A would be the economically efficient point and vice versa. Now this whole notion of a Pareto efficient point and a Pareto improvement is an important one, and one can also use a similar sort of trade-off diagram to illustrate this notion of a Pareto improvement. So a Pareto improvement is this. It means that it is only possible to make one person better off without making another person worse off. Pareto improvement. So, for example, if this is welfare of Y and welfare of X, if you move from point A to B, well, that would not be a Pareto improvement, because in improving the welfare of person X, you would be reducing the welfare of person Y, because obviously you'd be moving along this way but down that way. However, if you move, let's say, from point C up to point A, then that would be a Pareto improvement, because you would have these, welfare of X would be maintained at the same level here, but the welfare of Y would obviously go up from here up to here. So that would be the whole notion of a Pareto improvement. So once you get to a point of economic efficiency, it's not possible to make such an improvement. Now, again, the most interesting and exciting way, in my view, to illustrate economic efficiency is, of course, by our market structures diagrams. And here we have the long-run perfectly competitive position, and here we have the long-run monopoly position, just by way of contrast, really. So we have already established that in the long run, in perfect competition, we know that price equals min ATC, right there, so you can see it's P equals min ATC. We also know that the revenue received from selling the very last unit produced is the same as the cost of producing that unit, because P is equal to MC, so it's allocatively efficient. And therefore, this perfect market, I know, the word perfect, the implication therefore is that it is as good as it gets. Therefore, that is economically or Pareto efficient. Contrast that with your monopolist. So, monopoly, maximizing, profit maximizing level of output, once again, is of course where MC equals MR. So we get QMon there, PMon there. But the more interesting thing here in terms of efficiencies, of course, is, well, the cost is here, the cost of QMon, we go up to the cost curve and across. So that is clearly not at the minimum ATC, which is right there, so it's not productively efficient. And the marginal cost of producing QMon is actually here, where the marginal cost curve is cutting the level of output, so that's the marginal cost. But clearly the price is greater than the marginal cost, so price doesn't equal marginal cost either. And of course this would be one of the, in our discussion points of an essay, this would be how we would be explaining some of the disadvantages of monopoly, because it is neither productively nor allocatively efficient. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to leave it at that. So if you are not a subscriber, please do hit the subscribe button. Follow me on Instagram, G_economics, Twitter, G_economics, LinkedIn, G_economics, and all the latest events, geconomics.co.uk/events. Bye for now.